Welcome to lecture number 3, Hinduism. The term Hinduism is a term that in many ways is a historical inaccuracy, if not complete accident. To be Hindu means simply to be a resident of India who is neither Christian nor Islamic nor Buddhist nor Sikh nor Jain. The term Hindu itself derives from the name of the Indus River and is used in modern religious studies in the West to describe the panoply of religious practices, devotional structures, and morality of the people of India. It actually began as a British census category, very similar to saying someone is Latino or Hispanic or Asian American. It's that general of a term. Having noted the difficulty for sociologists, anthropologists, and others to adequately describe the native religious practices of India, many common themes, sacred texts, etc., nonetheless still paint a coherent picture of what Hinduism in fact is. The sacred texts of classical Hindu thought include the Rig Veda, which focuses on Hindu understandings of the creation story, the Upanishads, which outline much of the philosophical or theoretical core of later Hindu thought, and the Bhagavad Gita, meaning Song of the Beloved One, in which Prince Arjuna is advised by his charioteer Krishna concerning whether to fulfill his station in life, his dharma, or whether to choose familial loyalty instead. Through these texts and later practice, Hinduism has come to mean the following core sets of religious thought patterns. A. Atman, the personal soul or deepest self. B. Brahman, the essence of divinity that undergirds all things and of which Atman is but a representation. To be Hindu is in many ways to view oneself as part of the divine, that is, Atman as part of Brahman. The soul is literally part of God's essence. Samsara, C, the spinning wheel of suffering from which human life must somehow escape. D. Karma, the understanding of moral reciprocity, namely that one's good or evil actions have real-life consequences that results in reincarnation, either further up or further down the great chain of being. E. Moksha, release from the suffering of samsara and its consequent endless cycle of birth and rebirth. To be liberated from samsara. Thus, although a diverse and eclectic set of religious practices constitutes the religion known as Hinduism, the preceding religious understandings nonetheless unify it as a religion. So as you read through these excerpts from the Upanishads, pay attention to how Brahman, the divine essence, is literally in everything. As you dig up a spade of dirt, so you dig up Brahman, the divine essence. Welcome to lecture number 2, Indigenous Religions. Indigenous religions, also known as traditional, aboriginal, primal, native, are a broad classification of worldwide religious traditions that are marked by several unifying themes. First, indigenous religions are generally polytheistic, believing in a multitude of lesser and greater gods, goddesses, and spirits. Second, indigenous primal religions are usually associated with a form of pantheism in which no distinction exists between the natural and supernatural phenomena within the category of being, meaning that divinity and nature are one. In short, pantheistic religious views hold that streams, trees, animals, etc. are all somehow manifestations of divinity, in which tree spirits, spirits of the winds, are all in close association and interaction with human populations. Third, the understanding of time is usually more cyclical than linear, as it is rooted in the seasonal cycles of nature, winter, spring, and harvest. Fourth, although certainly a pre-modern concept and owing to a polytheistic and pantheistic worldview, indigenous primal religions are usually also shamanistic, or shamanistic, in which evil spirits that cause disease and bad luck can be driven out through what moderns would call exorcistic practices, literally just like the movie The Exorcist. Fifth, given the cyclical emphasis of indigenous religious rites of human passage, such as birth, entry into adulthood, marriage, and death, including even the veneration of deceased ancestors, are of paramount importance to indigenous primal religions. Finally, since many of the sociological groupings of indigenous primal religious practitioners are tribal rather than national, imperial or confederate, meaning a confederation of tribes, the importance of exclusion versus inclusion within the larger social group becomes even more pronounced. Those who are quote-unquote in are those who follow the same linguistic religious rites, to include taboos, prohibitions against association with certain items, religious veneration, that is the same sets of divine forces, and finally, similar ethnic heritage. So in conclusion, although quite diverse in geographic location, ranging from Australia to Africa to North America, Central America, South America, due to common sociological trends, indigenous primal religions do in fact share many common themes.